Hey guys, and welcome to Mike's Rockin' Relics. Thanks for tuning in. Today on the show, I want to debut a new format that I'm going to do probably maybe twice a month, and it's going to be a show that features little things that I can't do full episodes on that I think are still interesting and very much music related. So this is going to be things like my gem of the week, picks of records that maybe you haven't heard in a long time that are kind of forgotten that maybe are worth a revisit, and recent pickups, feature items from my personal collection, and just some stories about music and rock and roll and things like that that maybe I wouldn't do a full episode on, but gathered and put together into one episode would be, I hope, entertaining for you. So that's what we're going to look at today. This is episode 1 of this new style of show, and let me know in the comments what you think of it, but I'm excited to show you. So here we go, episode 1. To kick things off today with a recent pickup, and I got this yesterday. It's actually a record about the characters that Ed Roth created. And if you know Ed Big Daddy Roth, he was a guy that was involved in the custom car, hot rod stuff of the early 60s. I think he did motorcycles too, but he had all these great characters. His most famous character was Rat Fink, if you've ever seen sort of cartoons or drawings of that. But this album is all the characters of Ed Roth, and it's a surf band called the Weirdos. Disgusting Music on Harry Records is the label here. It's actually on Mercury, and the album itself is in fantastic condition. I picked this up at a flea market. Thrilled to have it, just for the oddity that it is. It's fun to actually listen to, actually, and the lyrics of all the songs are beside each character's drawing here. So it's pretty unique and different, and kind of a bit of a time capsule back to the hot rod days of the early 1960s, for sure. So that is this week's favorite pickup. Okay, up next is this week's Forgotten Gem, and I am going to go with Long John Baldry and an album called It Ain't Easy. And this is 1971. You see this record in the cheapest bins, and people just flip right by it. And this is solid gold. This is really good. There's some pictures up here on the back of some people that played and or produced this record. John Baldry's in the middle, but that's Rod Stewart and Elton John, and both were very much involved with this. And Ron Wood is on here as well, playing guitar. So there's some really good stuff. And this is a record that I would highly recommend you listening to if you've never heard it before. And maybe next time you see it in a $5 bin or something, you might pick it up, because it is really good. And there's a big track on here called Don't Try to Lay No Boogie Woogie on the King of Rock and Roll. That's worth it right there. Check out this record, Long John Baldry, It Ain't Easy, this week's Forgotten Gem. Okay, today's featured piece from the collection is a set of drumsticks from Neil Peart and Rush. And the new Rush box set has just come out, so I thought I'd feature this on the channel. I've been able to meet Rush a couple of times, great guys. And I had a licensing deal, still do I think, with ProMark, and they were doing Neil's drumsticks at the time for the Clockwork Angels tour, and they sent me a set that were being made for him, which is pretty cool. So it's got his printed signature and stuff, and the tour and the Rush logo and things like that, and pretty cool. It's on Japanese oak that they're made out of. And just to have a set of Neil Peart sticks, that's pretty cool. They were not stage used or anything like that, just made at the time that they were making the other ones. So pretty fun. And that is this week's featured item from the collection. Another feature I want to do on this type of episode is talk about 45s, because they don't get a ton of love anymore. And this one is going to be something I want to feature 145 in every one of these episodes. Today I'm going to show you Spoonful. And this is Howlin' Wolf, written by Willie Dixon and on the Chess label. And that is an original Chess Records, Howlin' Wolf, Spoonful. Classic track. Of course, I don't think Willie Dixon really did write that song. He gets a little bit of credit for that, but that goes way, way back, that one. That is an old, old tune, and something that was sort of resurrected for Howlin' Wolf. But that is a cool 45 on the Chess label. Of course, the Chess label did evolve. The original ones have sort of silver up top here, and then they went to this solid blue with the chest down the side. So there you go, Howlin' Wolf. Nothing wrong with that. Anytime you get a Howlin' Wolf 45, they are super cool to own. So there you go, a real blues classic, Spoonful. Okay, and the last feature in this new style of episode I want to talk about is a little bit of rock and roll history, and I love to trace the origins of where songs came from and the roots of certain things. And there's a song that was well known in the blues and R&B world, and even up in the 1990s it was recorded. It was called Stagger Lee, but it originated as a song called Stack-O-Lee Blues. And Ma Rainey recorded the first version of Stack-O-Lee Blues, but she was not the song's writer. It had been doing the rounds of the South, traveling up and down the Mississippi River since the turn of the century. And there's over 60 known recorded versions, and countless others that were never recorded. But if we had to pick a definitive version, it would be Mississippi John Hurt's version. I think that would be considered the definitive version of Stack-O-Lee Blues. But there's quite a story behind this song, and I want to tell you that today as well. So let's get into that. Okay, to really understand the song, I'm going to read you a newspaper article that was published in the St. Louis Globe in 1895, and it reads, William Lyons, 25, a levee hand, was shot in the abdomen yesterday evening at 10 o'clock in the saloon of Bill Curtis at 11th and Morgan Streets by Lee Sheldon, a carriage driver. Lyons and Sheldon were friends and were talking together. Both parties, it seems, had been drinking and were feeling in exuberant spirits. The discussion drifted into politics, and an argument was started, the conclusion of which was that Lyons snatched Sheldon's hat from his head. The latter demanded his return. So Lyons refused, and Sheldon withdrew his revolver and shot Lyons in the abdomen. When the victim fell to the floor, Sheldon took his hat from the hand of the wounded man and walked away. He was subsequently arrested and locked up at the Chestnut Street station. Lyons was taken to the dispensary where his wounds were pronounced serious. Lee Sheldon is also known as Stag Lee. And a footnote, Billy Lyons later died from his wounds, and Lee Sheldon was convicted and did serve time. So when we actually look into this song, Frank Hutchison from West Virginia, who played his guitar held on his lap, recorded this song in 1927 for the OK record label. He was a white man who learned to play guitar from a black musician neighbor. This early recording illustrates the close links between the music of poor blacks and whites in the South, which was really prevalent at that time. Stack-O-Lee Blues has been released with many variations on the title, including Stack-O-Lee, Stack-O-Lee, Stack-Alley, Stacker-Lee, and finally Stagger-Lee. The song has made the U.S. Hot 100 3 times, getting to number 1 in 1959 with Lloyd Price. Wilson Pickett had a hit with it in 1967, and Tommy Roe in 1971. Besides the commercially released versions of the song, 16 versions were recorded by the Library of Congress during its field trips in the 1930s and 40s, and the first of these was by Ivory Joe Hunter in 1933. The Grateful Dead's version updated the story of the song to 1940 with the lyric, 1940 Christmas evening with a full moon over town, Stagger Lee met Billy DeLion and blew that poor boy down. Pretty cool. Bob Dylan did this song in 1993. The Dead did it in 1978. Taj Mahal in 1969. Memphis Slim did it in 1961. Woody Guthrie did it in 1956. So did Lonnie Donegan. But I think the classic version of the song remains Mississippi John Hurt And this record that I'm showing you here, the 1928 Sessions, has a very cool version of it on there. And that's on the Yazoo label. So there's a little bit of info on a classic song called Stagger Lee or Stacko Lee Blues. Well, thanks for taking the time to watch that show, and I hope you like the new content and the new direction I'm trying to go with the channel. You know, it won't be every video, but I'm going to do a lot more of these where I can get in different types of things all into one episode like this and kind of move quickly from one thing to the next. So if you like that, leave me a note in the comments and let me know if that's something you'd like to see more of in the future. And I thank you once again for all the support and for tuning in. Keep on collecting, keep rocking, and we'll see you next time.